Well, I'm joined down in the studio by a man nicknamed the Frack Master. Chris Faulkner is the chief executive of the Texas-based Breitling Energy Corporation. He's renowned for his unapologetic support of fracking. Also joining us is Eva Jasiewicz from the Fuel Policy Action, a vocal opponent of hydraulic fracking. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Let me start with you, Chris. A lot of excitement, and perhaps not excitement in this country in the last week, about the oil find somewhere below Gatwick Airport. 100 billion potential barrels of oil. I mean, is that actually true?
Look, I think there's no question there's a lot of oil down there. The Upper Jurassic Kimmeridge is actually the kitchen or the source rock for the North Sea. We're all familiar with that. It actually comes on shore there. So there's 100 billion barrels. I think it's probably too early to tell if it is. Just to give you an idea, the North Sea is a 40 billion barrel producer. Ghawar, the biggest field in the world, in Saudi Arabia, is a 65 billion barrel producer. That'd make this the biggest find onshore on the planet.
But is it a game changer for Britain, potentially?
It would be if there's 100 billion barrels, and quite frankly, if there's just 10% of that, and there's 10 billion barrels, it's a game changer. And the fact that they're not going to use fracking down there, I think it makes it more appealable to Britons.
Okay, Eva, does that delight you or horrify you?
It's horrific. I mean, we would be derogating from our responsibilities under the Climate Change Act if we were to extract those reserves. But the point here, and this is the elephant in the room, is that there's no guarantee of how this will be extracted. There's no guarantee of how we're going to get to these reserves. But more than that, 2/3 of known reserves need to stay in the ground, according to the IPCC. This is the global scientific community. Climate change is what we need to be tackling here, and that can't be tackled if we're to go for fracking.
Look, I think climate change, at whatever level you believe it at, I think they're creating quite the boogeyman. There's plenty of science that disproves the level of climate change they want you to believe in. The reality is they would like you to have the ability to fly, go see grandma in the country, be able to travel to the United States, go to Spain on vacation.
So you're a climate change denier?
I'm not a climate change denier. I'm a climate change denier at the level that they claim it exists at. Yes.
We go with global scientific opinion. We're also going with public opinion. There are 200 anti-fracking groups in this country, very conscious of climate change, very conscious of fuel poverty, and they won't allow this industry to take hold in this country.
But what about energy security? I mean, even the Royal Society and the Royal Academy of Engineering have said that fracking is okay under the right regulations. So why not go ahead with it if it's done properly? Because it would give this country energy security and independence.
Energy security and independence is going to come from renewable energy. It's also going to be cheaper. So we're going to have energy security for people who are on prepayment meters, people who are struggling with fuel poverty in this country. There are thousands of preventable winter deaths. And what we need to do is really reorganize our resources. So if we're looking at public opinion, 68% of the country want energy to come back under public control. As many also want renewable energy. And this is the sustainable future. Why are you talking about an industry that doesn't exist when we can invest in an industry that does exist, renewable energy?
7% of the power generation in this country comes from renewable energy. That's 1.7 hours a day. Which 2 hours do you want to run this country on? Which 22 do you want to steal from the rest of the United Kingdom? You need diversification, which is energy security. You are putting your eggs in the natural gas basket. You're bringing in Qatari gas. You're bringing in gas from Russia. You've had blackouts in the winter. You've had the gas turned off in the United Kingdom. You cannot displace coal, nuclear, and natural gas.
Wind power sustained us through those blackouts.
But isn't the point also that this isn't Texas? You could fit 20 Sussexes into one Texas.
So this is not
Texas. We don't have the space. We don't have the space in this country.
I'm not saying bring Dallas to Sussex. What I'm saying is that fracking has been done safely in the United States 1.5 million times since the 40s.
That's not
those
true.
are undisputed facts.
I
know she doesn't like those facts. She wants to sell fear, but those are the facts.
Isn't your biggest enemy here cheap oil? Because that's completely undermined the fracking industry in the United States.
I do think that, it's caused uneconomical areas of the United States, sure, like the Bakken,
have you lost
for example.
money as a result of it?
I have not. We operate in the Permian Basin, where some of the cheapest oil we can still find at. Will it create a challenge here? Absolutely. But the reality is, you're still going to get the oil and the natural gas from somewhere. Why don't we create the jobs and utilize the resources of the United Kingdom first and foremost?
Isn't that something that you both have in common? Because your enemy is also cheap oil, because that means less investment in renewable energy.
The enemy's climate change, the enemy's fuel poverty. It's about having democratically controlled energy. It's about having a more sustainable use of energy as well. We need to be conserving energy, we need to be insulating home, we need to be using far less energy. I mean, I just don't understand why Chris is trying to promote an industry that doesn't exist and is already in contraction in the US. It's been banned in Denton. The birthplace of fracking has banned fracking.
I want to invite you to come down to Texas. I want you to see what we're doing in Texas, the Permian Basin. I want to invite you to come to Texas. Come down to Dallas. I want you to see this energy industry that does not exist, as you say. I'll pay your way over there, but you you can't come using hydrocarbon-based fuels. Do you want to come? And what day?
You're going to take him up on the invitation?
We can talk about that later.
Well, enjoy the discussion. Chris Faulkner, Eva Jashiewicz, thank you very much indeed.